Hey, I'm Mark. In this week's project we're doing a modern, rustic, industrial, not sure what to call it, receptionist desk. Well, let's get back to the barn and I'll show you how we start. Well, I made a cut list of all my parts and I'm going to cut them with a metal blade. It should take me about 20 or 30 minutes. Well, I got all my parts cut. That was fast. Next, I'm going to pre-drill. I know these two pieces will bolt together. The table's going to be so big and heavy that I'm going to have to make it in 4 pieces that all bolt and screw together. And I got another little project. I'm chalk painting an old antique mirror, and that's going to be my next kitchen table I'm going to be working on next week. Well, let's get to the drill press. Well, I got my holes drilled. Next, I'm going to get my ends tacked together. When you're working with steel, it's a little different than wood. You cut your pieces, if you can see that, we cut them a 1/16 short, and it fits together. It fits together better and gives you a little space to fill when you're welding. Well, let's get it welded up. Thing you want to do is smooth out the welds, and I'm using a sandpapered flat disc body work sander. You don't want to use a grinding rock when you build furniture, because I don't want to scratch it. I got the frame welded and just put the top on. I haven't tacked it down yet. The frame will, you can see it bolts together, and so it'll come apart there at that seam because it's so heavy and big. And next we'll get the stud walls connected to the front side of it and all the lumber attached. Well, next I'm going to attach a pre-made wood stud wall to the front of it. I've got screw holes that are just screw in, and then the top will be our 12-13-inch wide hickory, and it all just screw together, and then it'll all unassemble because it's going to be so heavy, and it'll be easier to install. Well, I got the studs mounted. Next we're going to put the countertop on and screw it down. Well, I got one top mounted. The other one I have cut the length. It's upside down, and I cut a groove right down the heart. I kind of followed the pith of the wood, and to help control the cupping, I put a screw in every so often, and I can tighten or loosen that screw to keep the top of the board nice and straight. I'm using rough cut pine. I'm going to leave the sawmill marks in it. And the top was made out of hickory. I'm just going to screw it to the metal frame. We'll disassemble it. After I get it all together, we'll disassemble it for all the staining, and I'm using a chemical on the metal. Well, I got a few more boards on there. They are about 5/8 of an inch thick. I left the sawmill on this side, and I run it through the planer so that they're the same thickness, so that they smooth out, flush out to each other. I'm only getting to work on it about 30 minutes a day. I am just really busy in my other businesses. But slowly but surely, Next we'll do the front and the side. Well, I got the front and the side on, and I'm putting the metal pieces. Got one on, I got two more to do. It laps here about an inch, 8-inch wide. And the way I've connected it, I've got it screwed there at the top where you can't see it. And at the bottom, I have welded a bolt. It will drill a hole through the stud and just U-bolt in. Through bolt in. There on the bottom. Well, I got it finished. Now to take it all apart and sand it and stain it. Let's see how heavy this thing is. Not too bad. I'll get that set off to the side. Well, I'm going to stain it now. I'm using Golden Oak 210B, and everything's going to be stained this. And I'm going to stain the parts that are under it that you don't see, or you do see if you look under, just so that it's a darker color. And I will give it 2 coats of stain. I'm not using a preconditioner at all. The customer wanted stain to have a lot of variation in it, so by not using the preconditioner, that will happen naturally. So. For the top and the sides, I'm using a polyurethane designed for floors. This is going to take a lot of abuse. The sides and the walls of it, I'm going to use a water-based polyurethane. I will give it 2 coats, and I will sand between each coat. And I'm using a natural bristle brush. Just try to get it on as quick as you can, and it takes about 24 hours before you can sand it and put another coat on. Well, for the metal, we're using a blackener made by Jack's, and I put it in a bug sprayer, and then don't have to use very much at all. And you spray it, and it changes fast, like 30 seconds fast. I'm doing it outside so that I can rinse it off with the water hoses. You have to rinse it thoroughly. If you don't, it'll rust on you. Next, we're going to coat the raw steel with linseed oil. Wipe it on, and it takes about 3 days for it to cure, but it gets a real hard surface. Farmers use it on their plows and their implements. It's impossible to keep paint on and non-moving parts, and it forms a really hard surface. You can see it kind of darkens it, and I'm going to be delivering this in 2 days, so tomorrow. Well, this is the finished product. They still got to decorate. We just installed it here. Still got to hook it up to the electrical. There's an outlet down there on the floor. Turned out good. It's what they wanted, and they're happy. We will see you on our next project. Appreciate y'all watching.